Are you ready to curb your addiction to your phone? There's one device so many of us are addicted to, yet we don't always recognize it. Take a look around you. This one item is probably right by your side at this very moment. In fact, you might even watch this video on your phone. Checking it is one of the first things we do in the morning after waking up, and it is a part of our day while we work and while we spend time with our families. Plus, it might even be one of the last things we see before going to bed. The painfully difficult task of paying attention. Most of life can be so excruciatingly dull. We spend hours standing in line, commuting, and waiting. It's forgivable that we distract our minds with email, tweets, texts, and 35 tabs open on our browsers. The problem is, divided out like that, we are left as partially everywhere and fully nowhere. We live with a constant fear of missing out, but a need to fill the moments documenting life and making sure we don't miss an email or update. We miss out being present in life. A recent study from Tel Aviv University of smartphone users relative to their old-school, flip phone counterparts came to the unsurprising conclusion that smartphone users were more detached from their physical surroundings, and, when asked about a place that they had just visited, they were far less likely to remember anything about it. The problem is smartphones combine the main spheres of your life, your social network, your work, your news source, and your personal conversations. As the researchers found, for smartphone users, the social norms of the physical world are often trumped in favor of this device that holds it all. A bigger problem perhaps even than the social etiquette breaches and distracted lives that smartphones are leading us to live is the way the devices affect our brains. Smartphones have been linked to both sleep and concentration problems, as well as a lack of empathy. Boredom is a gift to creative ideas. But the easy distraction that smartphones offer kills the empty moments that make life what it is. Perhaps the most detrimental effect is that we longer know how to be bored. Boredom is a gift to creative ideas. It's time when your mind can wander and make new connections. But the easy distraction that smartphones offer kills the empty moments that make life what it is. Of course, ownership of a smartphone doesn't make you a better or worse person. It doesn't automatically make you less mindful or empathetic. The act of checking out of life because it's boring or painful is an easy reflex regardless of technology. That makes it easier, and like anything else in life, owning a smartphone is what you make of it. To live and work in the world today is to be tethered by technology for better and worse. No matter how I resist it, I know that someday, probably soon, my dumb phone will bite the dust. Then I'll be just like you, and I'll likely wonder how I ever lived without Instagram at my immediate disposal. My hope is that in those moments of boredom, I'll remember what it's like to let my mind wander, and I'll leave my phone in my purse. Whether or not it's a formal addiction or just overuse to the point of compulsion, we don't know. In some extreme circumstances, it probably rises to the level of an addiction. Smartphones and tablets have changed the way people work, play, and keep in touch with families. Ongoing research shows they can also detract from people's lives, increase their stress levels, and get in the way of their relationships. But does that behavior rise to the level of an addiction? For many people, it's the last thing they see before going to sleep and the first thing they reach for when they wake up. According to a recent Mobile Minute study by Lookout, nearly 60% of Americans checked their phones at least once an hour. According to the study, young people are the most plugged in, with 63% of women and 73% of men ages 18 to 34 saying they don't go an hour without checking their phones. The study also showed that many will break the law and rules of etiquette to stay connected. 24% said they check their phones while driving. 9% said they check their phones during religious services at a house of worship. 30% admit they checked their phones during meals with others. Dr. David Strayer, who directs the Applied Cognition Lab at the University of Utah, has become a national authority on the topic over the past 12 years. I have all the gadgets just like everyone else, Strayer said, but there's a time and place for using them. Many people may be too plugged into the detriment of their emotional health, he said. In a way, they've become a slave to technology, said Strayer, who conducts research to better understand how and why people can become overloaded while multitasking. The phone rings, we have to answer it, he said. If we get a text message, we need to reply. Strayer pointed out that most people feel socially and professionally obligated to respond to text messages, emails and alerts on social media. 75% of Americans sleep with the phone in the room, many with it right in the bed. Strayer said many teens feel compelled to reply to a text message in the middle of the night. That's not healthy, he said, especially when people prioritize their technology over human interaction or use it as an intermediary. You lose that human connection, and that's a violation of the way that humans have interacted for hundreds of thousands of years, the psychologist said. Strayer suggested it may be changing the way we think and behave. People Google more and remember less. They let GPS do their navigation. All of the disruptive noise that people channel into their minds from their mobile devices can stress them out, exhaust them and stunt their social skills. Whether or not it's a formal addiction or just overuse to the point of compulsion, we don't know, Strayer said. In some extreme circumstances, it probably rises to the level of an addiction. He said that's still up for debate within the scientific definition of addiction. Strayer suggests people completely unplugged from time to time, interact with their families, get outside in nature, take a hike. He said that's the best way to relieve the stress is to have a digital detox of sorts. Thanks for watching. For more help, touch the links below. Feel free to subscribe for further assistance.